Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
I mean, how can you go against Tusky?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Good morning and welcome in, everybody. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. It's Monday. We've got a ton to get to, including what should be a great NFC matchup tonight between the Packers and the defending champions in the Eagles. We've got some hockey games, records, cover those up. Some really good hockey games on the board tonight, 4 in total. Some basketball we will touch on a little bit. And then, of course, Chris Andrews joins me in studio on the desk to recap this past weekend. Before we do all of that, kind of the nature of the beast, the time of our show, we seem to have breaking news often, and something just came through. I'm Alex White alongside Ryan McCormick for the next hour with you guys here today. The Giants fire Brian Daboll after a 2-8 disappointing start. We've seen some glimpse. They start Jackson Dart. Things are looking a little better, but ultimately it's been pretty rough there in New York. Ryan, what are your thoughts? Ryan's got a little bit of an insight here and has talked about it with, of course, a childhood friend in Daniel Bellinger, who is on the Giants. So I'd love to hear from you where you're at right now and if you think this was the correct move.
I've thought for a while now that Brian Daboll should have been fired. He is not an NFL head coach. He is an offensive coordinator with a Napoleon complex. He wants to be the smartest man in the room. He feels like he's the smartest man in the room 100% of the time. But moving off of that point, if they don't lose Jackson Dart in that game yesterday, the Giants win that game. I 100% believe that. I don't think the Bears win that game unless the team quit, the Giants quit the way they did. Brian Daboll quit on Russell Wilson. You have a Super Bowl winning quarterback as your backup, and you close your playbook like Russell Wilson can't operate an NFL offense. I don't understand. The Giants used 12 personnel at the second highest rate of any offense in a game this season per Next Gen Stats. Their 354 yards out of 12 personnel is the second most by any team in the last 10 years. So when you run behind the tight ends, when you run behind number 82, Daniel Bellinger, you're able to run the football and kind of control the clock. Brian Daboll did not have that philosophy. The Giants this year have had 4 road games where they led by double digits in those 4 games. They did not win a single one of those.
Oh my God.
They had a 92.3% chance to beat the Cowboys. They had a 99.3% chance to beat the Broncos, up 32-0. And they had a 97% chance to beat the Bears. They lost all 3 of those games. The odds of doing that, 1 in 60,000. So pretty remarkable collapses by the Giants this season alone. But if you want to take it back a couple years, this is now, under Brian Daboll, the Giants are 20, 40, and 1, a 3.36 win percentage. That's not good in the National Football League. I believe there was actually a stat out there that was 186th out of 204 possible coaches with at least 50 games coached in the National Football League.
Wow.
186 out of 204.
And he won Coach of the Year his first season. So take that year out, and then we're looking at a really brutal record from the last couple years. So it hasn't really been working. They shipped off Daniel Jones, who's now doing great in Indianapolis. So I don't think a change is the worst thing for this team. Up next, they will have the Green Bay Packers, who will be on a short week. So we'll see if we get the kind of fired coach bump there for the Giants.
I mean, the Giants are able to control the line of scrimmage. They have a solid offensive line. They have a solid defensive line. It's just a matter of, can the skill positions get it done? And they haven't been able to so far this season.
We said that too in the previews. We said the talent on this team, their power rating, player power ratings combined to make their raw power rating was not, it was pretty good. It's just they had a brutal schedule and, everything had to work together. And starting at the line of scrimmage, which they could, but the rest was not there. But, of course, injuries too, but you can't, a lot of teams beat up right now. So
Mike Kafka takes over as the interim head coach. As I have stated, it was Brian Daboll's offense. Brian Daboll ran that team, so everything that we see out of the Giants for the rest of this year will be new. Will be new play calling for Mike Kafka. Will be not necessarily a whole new offense, but it will be. It won't be the same look that we've seen the last couple of years.
So what does that mean moving forward? Of course, right now the Giants are 4th in their division, just 2-8, as I mentioned, starting a rough start that led to the firing of Brian Daboll. Washington is talk about banged up. They just cannot get over their injuries. 3-7, 3-5 right now. 3-5-1. I'm sorry. The Cowboys have a tie in there, and the Eagles at 6-2. So while you imagine this game is really meaningful for both of these teams, and it is for the Eagles. They're trying to get the 1 seed, of course, in the NFC, but it's a lot more meaningful for the Packers, who have 2 teams now right behind them. Packers are leading at 5-2-1, but they don't even have as many wins as the Lions and the Bears, who got that win yesterday. 6-3 for both of those 2 teams. So big game for the NFC tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd mentioned the Commanders, and just to kind of hammer home a point that this really is not the year that the Commanders were expecting with injuries and their defensive collapse. The Commanders are the first team in the NFL to lose 4, well, not necessarily in the NFL, but first team this year, at least. Well, okay, let me restart that. The Commanders are the first NFL team to lose 4 straight games by at least 21 points. 4 games by at least 21 points in 23 years. The last team to do that was the 2002 Arizona Cardinals. So, not good.
Does not even seem possible that they have stacked together losses like that. I said it, though, last week. I said, I'm done, because I've given them a shot and that, taking the points, and now it makes sense. Those games were not competitive. The other game, continuing a little recap here with the NFL, very impressive wins for the Rams and the Seahawks. So both of them kind of separated themselves in that very competitive division. Tampa Bay was very fortunate that the Panthers took a loss as well. And the Falcons, of course, to the Colts oversee. But really, anything else jump out to you looking at the NFC yesterday? Or was it really the West that kind of stood out?
The NFC, well, the Bucks have some things to figure out. They looked like they ran into a buzzsaw. Not necessarily a dominant win. I kind of take that back. The Patriots controlled the entire pace of that game. And they really, the touchdown at the end by Travion Henderson really kind of bloated it. But just a stat in it, it was the only game in the last 5 seasons that featured 4 different rookies, at least 4 different rookies to score a touchdown. Emeka Egbuka, Tez Johnson for the Bucks, and Travion Henderson and Kyle Williams for the Patriots. It was the first game featuring at least 6 total offensive touchdowns by rookies since the Bears scored 6 by themselves in Week 13 of 1965 against the 49ers. 5 of those 6 touchdowns were scored by rookie Gale Sayers.
That's awesome. And we have talked about both of these teams and how good their rookies have been. I think Mike Vrabel made a strong case for his Coach of the Year campaign, which I've been talking about McDonald for the Seahawks. It looks like both of them are in the driver's seat right now to win their divisions. And let's switch from Patriots leading right now the AFC East and the Buffalo Bills falling to their division foe in the Miami Dolphins, which was a bad loss for them trying to win that division. Bills now 6-3 and the Patriots 8-2 ahead of that division. Steelers fall last night to the Chargers and let Baltimore kind of creep up there too. So a lot happening in the AFC, of course. Still at the top, though, the Indianapolis Colts. The Broncos, pretty fortunate last Thursday to get that win over the Raiders and stay ahead in that division. Anything jump out to you AFC-wise?
Well, we'll kind of talk with Chris Andrews later. I really did feel like this is kind of the most number-dependent week that we've had so far in the NFL. We've seen a lot of blowouts the last couple of weeks. But still, this ties win card, 7 for 7, 2001, has 8 winners headed into Monday Night Football. The Jets covered the 6.5. The Saints covered the 1.5. The Patriots, the 4.5. The Seahawks, the 14.5. The Lions, 16.5. Rams, 9.5. And Chargers, 9.5. So the 4 big favorites to close the day and 3 of the underdogs winning outright to start the day yesterday. Yeah, you could have a nice 7 for 7 gets 2001. And then the ties win. Not necessarily a huge winner in the NFL yesterday. 7 and 5 were underdogs, 2 of which landed on the number, the Falcons plus the 6 and the Giants plus the 4. But going back to college, if you took the underdogs on this ties win, you were 23 and 11 possible for the underdogs. So underdogs on this ties win card, 30 and 16 this week.
Finally, underdog bettors did have a good weekend, and in total, 35, 28, and 1 against the spread with college football and NFL. That ties win. Very good if you grab the right ones there. We've talked about it, though, and we talked about it on Friday, where you could get some stale lines that had moved, and you no longer could get those. And there was a couple favorites on there, too, including Texas Tech, who ballooned up to 12, I think, maybe even 13 before it closed, but a 10 on a parlay card. So overall, great weekend of football. I'm excited to talk about Chris Andrews. We'll get his thoughts on college football because now, Ryan, the ACC is wide open. 5 teams with 1 loss, with Virginia and Louisville losing yesterday. So things are heating up. It's going to be pretty crazy. Any final thoughts for you recapping the weekend? Yeah, just to kind of give you guys the final numbers. NFL Week 10 favorites went 8-4 straight up, 5, 6, and 1 against the spread. Totals were 7 and 5 to the over. College football Week 11, just the weekend, 35 and 17 straight up, 23 and 29 against the spread. Totals 23, 27, and 2. So more to the under there. And then bringing up the ice. It was a great weekend for me on the ice. Got both money lines on Friday. Reverse puck lines weren't crazy, but we'll kind of dive into it right here. So favorites over the weekend, 12 and 13 straight up. Totals were 11, 12, and 2. On Friday, favorites were 0-4 straight up. Wow. 3 reverse puck lines, and totals were 1 and 3 unders. The salami was at 25. It went under with 19. The away teams won 14-5. Saturday, favorites went 7 and 6 straight up, 5 puck lines, 3 of which were reverse puck lines. Totals 8 and 5 to the over. Salami went over, and the away teams won again. Yesterday, favorites went 5 and 3 straight up, 4 puck lines, 2 of which were reversed, including the Blackhawks. Totals 2, 4, and 2, and the salami went under, and the home teams finally won a day this weekend, 23-22. That's interesting. So Friday and Saturday, a lot of dogs, kind of evened itself out yesterday, but overall 12 and 13 straight up. That means there is a ton of value grabbing some of these underdogs that you think can win these games. I'm going to be honest, I like some favorites today, so I'm hoping that it continues to even itself out from the dogs taking over Friday and Saturday. But great stuff there as always. Any notes on the hardwood from over this weekend? Maybe even NBA tonight. I know you said you had a couple points you wanted to hit.
I've got two games that I actually like plays in the NBA tonight for some reason, but we'll get to those a little bit later.
Okay, very good. Well, let's talk about tonight's game a little bit. NFL here, the Eagles coming in off a bye week against the Packers. We'll just touch on this quickly, hit our 4 NHL games before we bring in Chris Andrews in about 15 minutes there. And then before the end of the show, kind of put a bow on it, any final bets for us. But looking at tonight's game, kind of went over their records here. The Eagles 6-2 and the Packers 5-2-1. It's hard to go away from any other game script, Ryan, than who's going to establish their run game first, right? Two of the best running backs in the league with Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. Looking at their numbers, though, it is pretty crazy because Saquon's coming off 150 yards rushing against the Giants, which he always does very well in those games, ironically. That was his first game of 100 yards, which is really weird to say after the year we saw him have last year. Josh Jacobs has not had 100 yards rushing yet this year, coming off 87 against Carolina in their loss. But best game, 93 against the Cincinnati defense, which makes sense. But I really think that is going to be the key to this game, right? Establishing their run game. Both of them want to control the clock. But also, they're kind of throw a wrench in it. Jalen Hurts has been throwing the ball. 5 of his last 6 games, he's had over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So that kind of complicates things. Where are you at right now? We talked about this game Friday when it was still 2.5. Chris said, beware, it's probably going to be a very trendy dog at 2.5. And now we're seeing that clearly all the money is on the Eagles here.
Yep. Well, you mentioned the Jalen Hurts had gone over his patching touchdown prop in 5 of the last 6. We actually wanted the viewers' thoughts on which prop they'll be taking tonight. So Jalen Hurts over his passing touchdowns, getting plus 130 here at the South Point. Jordan Love over the passing touchdowns, plus 110. A.J. Brown getting some love there. Over 4.5 catches, plus over 4.5 receptions, plus 105. And Luke Musgrave going over his receptions prop of 3.5, plus 115 here tonight. So go ahead and vote in the poll. Like the video, leave your comments of whatever you like in tonight. But as for me, obviously I'm a Bears fan. I won't be putting my money on the Packers in this one. But you had mentioned this one is going to be determined by who gets their run game going first or who controls the clock the most. And that comes down to who controls the line of scrimmage. The Green Bay Packers defensive line is completely capable of holding up the line of scrimmage. The Eagles offensive line is also completely capable of dominating the line of scrimmage. So it's probably pretty even when the Eagles are on offense. It flips when the Eagles are on defense and the Packers are on offense. The Eagles defensive line, I think, will wreak havoc tonight. And ultimately will end up controlling the game. But we are in Lambeau Field. We need to take that with a grain of salt. Matt LaFleur, since being hired in 2019 as the Packers head coach, has a 43-14 record at home, the 3rd best in the NFL, only behind the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott and the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid. The Packers at home, going back to as far as teamranking.com would allow me to, 2003. The Packers at home, 134, 58, and 2. Almost a 69.8 win percentage. Again, the 3rd best in the National Football League, only behind the New England Patriots dynasty and the Baltimore Ravens. And then you add into the fact the Packers just lost to the Panthers. The Packers, since 2003, after a loss, 78, 54, and 2, almost a 60% win percentage, the 6th best in the National Football League over the last 20-plus years.
That's pretty good. Pretty good numbers there. I was curious on them coming off a loss. So now you have that factor for the Packers, but then you got the Eagles coming off a bye. But there are stats out there, and I don't know if you have them, or trends Let's say you kind of fade the road team that is coming off a bye, but
Well, I do have at least Nick Sirianni as the Eagles head coach since 2018. Eagles are 36-29 on the road, a 55.4 win percentage, just over half. But again, it is the seventh best in the National Football League. And then if you go with same things that I did with the Packers at home and after a loss, doing it with the Eagles on the road and after a bye. Eagles on the road, 105, 84, and 1. 55.6 win percentage, second best behind only the New England Patriots. And after a bye, 20-6, it's almost a 77% win percentage, second best behind, again, the Baltimore Ravens. So both of these teams have the trends, whichever way you want to go. Eagles at home, Eagles on the road, Packers at home, Matt LaFleur at home, Eagles on the road. Want to fade the Eagles off a bye week. Actually, Nick Sirianni after a bye week is only 5-3. So that kind of more leans to the Packers. But when you take into account what the Packers are missing in this one,
yes,
and my bias, I think the Eagles absolutely win this one. More than likely by 2 scores.
I think you broke it down great looking at the line of scrimmages, and we know that the Eagles are the best O-line and D-line. So I do think that gives them the edge here, standalone game, and not to mention that the Packers have been dealing with injuries, and now the fact that they lose Tucker Kraft is going to hurt their passing attack, which has really not been all that impressive yet this year. I mean, they've really just tried to rely on getting their ground game going with Josh Jacobs, and then here and there, the explosive plays, right? But the Eagles are going to be able to limit those. So I use the Eagles on a contest 2.5. I'm pretty happy with that, with where the line has moved. But as for actually betting it tonight, I mean, taking a look at anytime touchdown props, I would definitely be interested in that. Josh Jacobs has scored in every game but one this year, and -150 feels a little pricey, but for a guy that has found the end zone in every game, sometimes twice, every game but Cleveland, who is a very good defense. So kind of like that, maybe we want to find another dance partner with that. But also, Ryan, aren't we, everything we're saying, I mean, this feels like a dead under game. Power ratings wise, I don't have a difference. I think that number is correct. But if we think it's going to be a rock fight, I mean, maybe it's a first half under that we're looking at here.
I don't hate it. But the one caveat to that, I will point out, Jalen Hurts against NFC North teams, 8-1 in his career. The one loss was against these Green Bay Packers, but it was in his rookie year, and it was the game that the Eagles benched Carson Wentz and made Jalen Hurts their starter. So as a starter, Jalen Hurts has not lost to an NFC North opponent. The games against the Packers, I believe 77 points in the first one, or maybe 67, and then 53, I believe, in the second one. So both games, a plethora of points in this matchup. That's where I would kind of caution. And if we want to look at anytime touchdown, we mentioned Tucker Kraft's going to be out, so maybe looking at Luke Musgrave, who's getting plus 360 best price over at DraftKings, but also looking at the full board, the 20 guys, 12 of them are Packers. So it kind of feels like we're just throwing darts at Packers. We have no idea how that offense is going to run,
Right.
Who's going to get the ball towards the paint. So, and then Drew Dog's flashing up the QB props as well. But I would also maybe looking at both of these quarterbacks have plus prices, pretty nice plus prices to throw interceptions. I'm kind of liking maybe Eagles to get a pick 6 in this one. I know, and hard to get an exact on that one, but best price 8-1 defensive touchdown for the defense special teams touchdown for the Eagles. And then I believe plus 160. No, that's Jalen Hurts. I think it's either 130 either 130, 140 or 150 for Justin or Jordan Love to throw a pick. Let me check on that. But that's kind of where I'm looking.
8-1 feels like a really good price for Eagles defense or special teams. Isn't it usually closer to 6-1?
They're both 5. Oh, they're both 5-1 over on DraftKings. Okay. So the best price you're getting on the defense and special teams is over on FanDuel. $7.50 for the Packers, 8-1 on the Eagles.
I don't hate it at all. And good points about being kind of cautious about taking the under. And we even saw a crazy game last year. This was the first international game last year in week 1 in Brazil where it was tight. And then that is, of course, where Jordan Love did suffer an injury, and the Eagles ultimately won that. But they were in that game, and it was higher scoring than expected then, too. So I would just tread lightly there for sure. Well, let's switch over. Let's go to the ice quickly so we can get through these 4 games before Chris Andrews comes to finish this recap. I am excited to talk about Week 11 in college football and, of course, Week 10 in the NFL with him as well. Ryan's right. He mentioned it. A lot of number-dependent games this weekend. So we'll see how the Books did. I'm sure they're very happy that the Bills found a way to lose, because I got to imagine that was a teaser leg on most people's teasers this week tied up. But let's go ahead and move to the ice. Brian, I mentioned it. We got some good games. Not necessarily the best records for some of these teams to start, but no doubt they will be in contention down the end here, especially the last 2 that are playing each other. But let's start off. We're going to start off on the East Coast here, Islanders and Devils.
Yeah, we'll start in the Prudential Center. The Devils, who have yet to lose at home so far this year, 7-0-0, minus 155 on the money line here tonight. Total is at 6 with juice to the over.
I imagine you're thinking the same as me. We said we both were leaning towards some favorites tonight. Is this one of them that you like?
Yeah. The Islanders are coming off of a 5-0 win at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers.
Yep.
We know the Rangers haven't scored in either of their last 2 games in the Garden. We'll get to them next against the Predators. But I don't think the Islanders are that good. I don't think you should read much into that. I do think the Devils are good. I would be going with them at home tonight.
I'm with you. I made it 185. So I think we're getting a nice 30-cent value here,
Nice.
just because the Islanders have put together some competitive games. And I got the wrong sheet up because that is the Rangers right there. But so 30 cents value there. The Devils are just better on both sides, and they're both pretty even when it comes to scoring. But New Jersey's been great in goals against. So I like the home team to keep it going, keep that streak going.
Could we be looking at a puck line plus 170?
I don't hate it.
Okay.
I mean, 185, 30-cent difference there. I got to figure out how to make the puck line numbers there.
Okay.
See the actual value. I will work on that, though. I think the total's right there at 6, too. So nothing in regards to that.
Okay. We'll go to the lowest total on the board, which I think you're still liking it that way. But yeah, staying in New York, or going across New Jersey to New York. Madison Square Garden, the Rangers, minus 185 at home. Predators getting 165 on the buyback. Total 5.5 with juice to the over.
What is happening with the Rangers in Madison Square Garden? It is the strangest thing, but now they've lost 7 straight at home. They've also got a nice little under streak going, 4 straight unders. And on the other side, the Predators, 4 straight road games have stayed under that total. Eventually, the Rangers are going to figure it out because their shots on goal numbers do not match them actually scoring. They're 12th right now in the league, but they're 31st in goals per game. And I do think they have the talent to figure it out. They're tied for second in goals allowed. Nashville just is pretty brutal on both sides, 30th in goals per game and 29th in goals against. But I'm going to take a shot here that these two continue the way they have been playing. I'm going to go under that 5.5. Not a ton of value, but I did make it slightly lower. So with it being juiced to the over, it's about 20-cent difference there for me.
So you had mentioned the Rangers' woes at home really is a head scratcher, but shout out to Matthew Blittner, Blittner for this one. Tweeted, for those looking for a theory to explain the New York Rangers' ineptness at Madison Square Garden, they claim that this is their 100th season. It's not. The Rangers started in 1926-27 as their first season, so that would make next year their 100th season. Also, they celebrated 2016-2017 as their 90th, so that makes this the math would make this their 99th. Plus, the 2004-2005 lockout knocked off one season. Hockey Reference lists this as the Rangers' 99th season. So, therefore, the hockey deities are mad and causing the Rangers to stink at home. The Rangers are phenomenal on the road. They've won all 7 of their games on the road. So really, if they just keep up the trend of winning every game on the road and losing every game on the home, or every game at home. They'll still make the playoffs. They'll be the lower seed. They'll still win a 7-game series, winning 4 on the road. We might be looking at Cup champions.
Oh my gosh.
No.
That's pretty good.
No.
That tweet's really good, though.
Just can't be playing the Rangers right now until they turn things around.
No, you can't. I think that number is correct, though. When you have the Predators on the road, you don't really trust them to come in there and steal one. So I'm staying off of the side, but I am going to take a shot there at under 5.5.
Okay. We'll go to the next game in Canada, featuring a team that is on the first of a back-to-back. The Blue Jackets will go from on the road here in Edmonton tonight to on the road in Seattle tomorrow. But right now, the Oilers minus 165 here at the South Point, total at 6.5 with minus 125 to the over.
This is the only one I didn't really have anything on. I mean, it's definitely a lean to the Oilers at that price. I think they should be $2 at home against the Blue Jackets. Both of these teams coming in on a 3-game losing streak, though. And honestly, I think Jet Greaves has been playing pretty good for the Blue Jackets. So I'm going to pass. Could be a game that the Oilers get right, and kind of the embarrassment factor. They're coming off a brutal loss against the Avs, so maybe they get right in this spot and they're back at home. What were you thinking?
Yeah, brutal loss. 9-1. They lost at home 9-1 to the Colorado Avalanche. You had mentioned losing 3 straight on the road at St. Louis, on the road at Dallas. Come back home 9-1.
9-1, and Connor McDavid was the only one to score for that team, right? So he's going to be fired up and have them.
I mean, it looks like it really feels like we start every year with the Oilers in some kind of slump, and then they ream out 10 straight wins in a row to get back into the race. And I wouldn't expect it to be any different. I just don't know if that's going to come tonight after the abysmal performance over the weekend.
Right.
So yeah, this one's a stay off for me.
Last but not least.
Yeah, we'll end it here in Las Vegas. The Florida Panthers taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Knights minus 135 at home after losing 2 straight at home. Totals at 6 with juicy the under.
Yeah, they got to get back in that win column here, and they got a home game against a Florida Panthers team that has really struggled on the road so far this year. 2-6. Now we were trying to fade them against Los Angeles Kings, and they really showed up for that one. I have no doubt they're going to show up for this one against the Golden Knights, but I do think that's a pretty cheap price here for the Knights at home. So I like that favorite as well.
Yeah, this one's a stay away from me. The Knights have gotten up to goal leads the last couple of nights and collapsed towards the end. So would like to see it change before I can back them again.
Kind of opposite for them in regards to not really even trends. I mean, Florida's just coming in off an under game, and the Knights 2 straight overs. I think that 6 is correct. Nothing for me there either, but I could see a tighter, more defensive battle between these two. Or who knows? It could be an offensive crazy game. So I do like the Knights, though, so I'm going to go side in that one. But let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll bring Chris Andrews here on the desk, and we will recap the weekend that was and get his thoughts on the coaching firing, the second coach to be fired in the NFL when we get back.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's your way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines, and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Welcome back, everybody. You are watching Sports by the Book live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Please jump in. We do have a poll question. We'd like your thoughts on that. We'll also have trivia. We haven't already, just pay attention to that ticker at the bottom there, brought to you by City Light Shine. So we'll get the answer after we have this recap with Chris Andrews here. Hello, Chris. How was your weekend?
How honest do you want me to be?
Okay, well, let's start with the book.
Well, let's start with yesterday.
Okay.
And I was reading the paper this morning, a local paper, the Chuck Esposito from the stations. He says, oh, man, that Bills-Dolphins game, that made their morning. It was their best game of the day. It was our worst game of the day.
I am shocked.
We got pounded on the money line and the point spread. Wow. We needed the Bills big time, at least to win the game. Now, we had some money line parlays and some teasers, but that was still a net loser, our worst game of the day. So it is funny. I think if you look at the end of the year, at the end of the season, let's say, most of us are going to be in a similar boat. You know, you had a good year, we had a good year. You had a bad year, we had a bad year. But on a game-to-game or week-to-week basis, it could go all kind of ways. Kind of made me feel good. He says, well, the afternoon was terrible, which it was definitely terrible. We saw the three favorites each score.
Yes.
The worst one was 42 points, you know. So, anyway, that was, it was Sunday was bad. Saturday was okay. We made a little bit of money Saturday. Going back to the Raider game on Thursday, that was good. Friday was like okay. You know, but all in all, you know, I was looking at the weekly report. We're up about this much. Not much.
I am shocked. I even said I'm sure the Bills were a good one for them because I heard a lot of people talking about that being a perfect teaser leg, but it wasn't enough. And you do have sharp people that come here and bet.
Yeah.
So for them to be on the Dolphins money line.
Yeah, it was really the sharps that got us this week. You know, sometimes it's the public, sometimes it's the sharps. It was the sharps this week. Got us pretty good. But
Saturday, decently okay. Any big surprise? I mean, any big surprises from yesterday first in the NFL besides the Bills?
Well,
are you surprised by that loss?
Yeah, I mean, outright, yeah, sure. I mean, I could see covering a number. The Bills have definitely not been playing well.
Yeah.
You know, so I could see that. I mean, Miami, I mean, they're still playing hard for this guy. You know, I mean, I could appreciate that. I mean, they're all looking for need jobs, though, too, you know. So, I mean, there's that. But, you know, the Bills, I keep lowering their power rating. I lowered them another point. You know, I think at the beginning of the year, we all almost had them penciled in as being the number one seed in the AFC. Now, I don't think they're going to win their division.
You're right. I agree.
You know, I think they're having a lot of difficulty right now. The defense we know has some injuries, but Josh Allen has not played nearly up to last year, nowhere near.
Brian had a question for you in regards to number dependent, because I'll let actually Ryan jump in here and kind of just break that down.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was pretty curious about how much the numbers varied throughout the week, because going off opening numbers, like the Colts opened 6.5. It dropped to 5.5 before the Sauce Gardner trade, and then it went back to 6, ultimately landed on 6 in overtime. Going to the Jets game, that one opened Jets -2, flipped after the trade. The Jets end up winning outright anyway. Going to the comeback from the Texans, they opened -1. It flipped to the Jags. Then it went back to Houston, -1.5. Houston was going to win by 1 unless Trevor Lawrence threw the pick 6 on the final play of the game, which wasn't necessary at all. And then the Giants and Bears. That one opened 3.5. and then the Bears got the money, and that one ended up 24-20. And if you only got the opening, and unless you got the Giants at the end, you only got the Bears at the opening number to win. So I guess the key question was, and you say you win like that, is that because of how number dependent it was?
Yeah, let's start with the day in Germany. Yeah, so that game was bad for us. Landed exactly on 6. It was funny. We're there watching the scenario, and when before they went to advertisement, the Colts were going to receive the kickoff.
Yeah.
We said, well, if the Colts go down and score, then they, that first score, you can still kick the extra point.
Right.
And we get them to win by 7. Boy, that's beautiful because they took 6.5, 6 up. Anyway, now you come back from the advertisement. Oh, they screwed up the coin toss. Right. Well, I know they can't win by 7. The most they can win by is 6. That's exactly what they won by, and the worst number for us. Then the Houston game, actually, that worked out in our favor because Houston 1 would have been a very bad number. So that saved us a little bit. And that was a pretty well bet game. You talked about the Jets game. We moved that pretty much on air, with all the what the Jets got rid of, like probably their 3 best defensive players, So I mean, we flipped that from one side to the other side without a whole lot of action. That game almost was meaningless. I mean, it was one of those games where nobody even knew they were playing. Nobody cared they were playing. I have the one TV that's the hardest for me to watch. Guess who was on that TV? And what was the other game you mentioned? Oh, the Bears. Oh, God. That 4 was a horrible number for us. So I think we had 4 on the Tides win card. We opened 3.5. They laid that. We went to 4. They took some 4.5. Yeah, that was that was a bad game. So we, it was just, listen, what can I tell you? That's stuff that happens. And, the world famous bookmaker, Bob Martin, who I always said the Babe Ruth of our industry, he says, you know what? You're going to have the same breakfast in the morning. Just go get them next week. So I had my scrambled eggs this morning, Ryan. I want you to know I was okay.
Well, let's talk about tonight's game before we do switch it over to college. It looks like all the money's coming in on the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
And we thought they were going to be just a trendy underdog, right? But now it's gone so far that we're at a pick 'em.
We're at pick, yeah. I heard Ryan, and boy, it must have just really torn at him to say, give those Green Bay statistics on how strong they are.
It's been my whole life.
But
with not very many quarterbacks either.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
I hope it comes to fruition again tonight, But I mean, I really, from the early in the week, I mean, we were looking at it. I said, man, Packers are 2.5, and I have them, I believe, the strongest home field. I'd have to check my notes here. So I don't have them quite the strongest home field, second strongest home field advantage, because they don't always cover all those numbers. All those stats you gave, Ryan, they were oftentimes a favorite, which they didn't cover, but they do win.
Yeah.
And, the Eagles are playing great ball, and but the Packers, talk about their inconsistency. Well, part of that inconsistency is sometimes they play really well, So, I mean, this is a big game, and, from my standpoint, I hope they show up tonight and play exceptionally well.
So, really is all there. What total-wise, it dropped a little bit, but nothing crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of just stayed
It'll
right
probably
there.
go back up, as people come in. Unfortunately, we got a lot of guys cashing tickets today, but hopefully they put it all back in action, stimulate the economy.
Typically, that's what us bettors do. Let's move over to college. It was a crazy, crazy Saturday, mostly in the ACC. So I want to start there because number 14 and number 15 both go down. Wake Forest, they did lose their quarterback in the second quarter, Chandler Morris, but I think it's concussion. He should be back. But now we have 5 teams because Louisville lost to Cal.
Yeah.
It's a great showing by Cal.
Sagapolitelli was really good that day. Yeah.
5 teams with 1 loss now in the ACC, so kind of wide open.
Boy, what kind of Armageddon are we looking at if we have 5 teams at the end of the year, how they choose? I don't know how the tiebreakers all work, but there's obviously going to be multiple, you beat them, they beat you,
Right.
I mean, how many, so I'm not sure how they do this, but I think you are looking at one seat at the playoff table.
I do
Whoever
too.
comes out of that ACC, I think that's one of those things where years ago when we saw, first Miami and then Florida State join that league, we thought they were going to be, certainly among the upper echelons of, on an equal, maybe not with the SEC, but, with the Big Ten and what at the time was a Pac-12 and Big 12. And, just never happened. Really, everybody kind of came down to they brought those two teams down to their level.
Yeah, you are correct. Miami hoping for some more chaos. Of course, they are 3-2 in conference play, so they need some help, but they still do have an outside shot.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech is a pretty good-sized favorite now to win that, which I think
what
we
are they
all
this
like
week?
to
They're
see.
double digits this week. Who are they playing?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. Who are they got? Am I thinking the right
They've
team?
got Boston College.
Oh, okay, yeah, double digit favorite there.
Yes, because they've kind of fallen off. The group of 5 is getting interesting as well. Memphis loses to Tulane.
Right.
Kind of opens the door where it's not a guaranteed AAC team, an American team. It could be James Madison. That's kind of
They're playing great.
quietly playing really good.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting there. SEC, let's talk about those.
Okay.
And I had a thought or kind of a realization this weekend. And on the show Friday, I said, Texas A&M over Auburn, without Hugh Freeze. I know the coaches bump, but this might be one of those games where it's like, I can't believe it was only 6.5.
Yeah.
I was also thinking that for potentially Georgia, which I like to the other side, but some of these dominating teams, it's November, right, Chris?
Right.
And this seems to be the time where the cream kind of rises to the top.
You texted me that the other day, and I was thinking about that, and I think you're right. And I think that those teams, this is a constantly evolving world, really, in a lot of ways. But those teams, all those kids have something really concrete to play for. Whereas some of these other teams, maybe they're playing to keep their scholarship. Maybe they're looking for the next stop with the NIL. I think a lot of them are. And, we kind of talked about, Florida. I think that's going to be kind of general knowledge at this point because the game opened last night. I want to say it opened like 13. Quickly went up to 14.
We didn't talk about that for everybody else who's watching yet. We were talking off air. So
why don't you talk about it? Go
yeah,
ahead.
so Florida, it's looking like a lot of guys are opting out.
Yeah.
Potentially even this upcoming game. So
right, against Mississippi, yeah.
Big line movement already. So basically, you just wanted to tell everyone to beware.
Yeah.
You think it's a lot of points in a SEC school getting all these points, right? But got to be careful.
Well, I looked at my power ratings, and my power ratings had Mississippi 13, which I think is I really wasn't on it that much. I was doing some other stuff, but I think it opened around there.
Yeah, I
and
think
it quickly
you're
went to
correct.
14, 14 and a half. This morning we opened at 16. At this point in time, it's rumors. We don't know, but it makes a lot of sense. But I would tell you, look for that in a lot of situations. Maybe a fired coach or a coach that might be on the hot seat. A lot of these players, let's say, we were looking at the LSU Arkansas game. Both coaches have been fired there.
Right.
And I saw some movement on the dog this morning. I told my people, just take a bet. We opened 6, kind of was 5.5 and 6. I think Circle went to 4.5. I was like, we take a bet. We're still at 6. I'm not sure what's going on there because I don't think the LSU players are. Who knows what they're thinking? But I'm not sure what the Arkansas players think about playing for Bobby Petrino and if he's going to keep the job or whatever. But that situation may arise really in quite a few spots. So keep your eyes on that.
Well, LSU was very competitive.
They were.
Against
Would they lose by
Alabama.
8? Would they lose by?
It ended up being 11.
11. Oh,
That
that's a
was
game I took 10.
Yes.
And on the air, I said, try to get 11.
Yes.
But in the contest, I didn't like that much. It was hard for me to come up with 7 plays. And I know I went against you in that one play. I played Memphis. You had Tulane. I really didn't like it that much. I just had to come up with a 7th play, and
Well, I
didn't mean to go against you. I didn't know you had it till later on.
No, and
Because I probably wouldn't have gone against you. I'd at least passed, if nothing else.
I kind of was looking more for those ugly dogs because
Yeah.
the week before I got too confident laying numbers, and we do like favorites too.
Sure.
But then I was like, and they did do pretty well. There was a couple. SMU did not have a letdown at
Right.
all, so it's staying away from that ugly dog. But We'll see moving forward, though. There was a
Yeah.
couple, Mississippi State, that
Yeah.
got to be aware of those really good teams and them kind of rising. I think Georgia
Well,
kind of announced that they are here. It's November. We're ready to.
Well, they've had the talent. There's
Yeah.
just been something kind of like missing,
yes.
you know. But are they getting it together? We know Kirby Smart's a great coach.
Yes.
You know, did he finally get that team together? You're right. It is November. By the way, you had a very good week. You were 5-2 in the Westgate contest.
5-2 in West.
I was 3-4. Looks like I'm I said it. I had to go 35-0 to get that ain't gonna happen, obviously. But I'm gonna still keep plugging. Might as well just play it and give the people some root against me or root for me, whatever you want to do. But we're trying to provide a service here. But you did very well.
Thank you.
If you don't win, I'm rooting
for.
for you. If you don't win, I'm rooting for our friend the Bear.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chris Felica is killing it. So anybody that is also following us,
Yeah.
hopefully you're following him because very good college season for him so far.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways? Any teams that really impressed you? Notre
On
Dame,
Saturday?
I should bring them up too because
Well, okay, go ahead.
slow start again, and then
Yeah.
they just kind of dominated Navy at the end there. And Jeremiah Love reminded everybody he's one of the best, if not the best, running back, right? So they kind of move up.
Yeah, before you go further, it looks like they're just a much better home team.
Oh,
You look at their numbers, and the Navy Horvath, was that the quarterback's name?
yes.
Yeah, he missed the game. So yeah, they won. They're impressive. But I'd be careful of them on the road. And So
Okay.
far, I need to do a little bit of work. I'm still on my first draft, the numbers and everything. But I kind of like Pitt. I think that number's a little too high. And, game day is going to be there. That'll be a big game for Pitt. They're still right in the middle of the ACC race. Now, this isn't an ACC game, but nobody's looking past Notre Dame, believe
Right.
me, no matter what situation you're in. I kind of like Pitt. I think that number's a little too high.
And they are at home.
Yeah.
Pitt's even better.
I think Ryan's trying to see. What do you
Yeah.
got, Ryan?
Well, we had mentioned the Bear and bringing up Notre Dame. Chris Felica is going getting a lot of flack from other people on Twitter saying that Notre Dame shouldn't be making the college football playoff. But this game, you talk about the importance for Pitt. This would be a ranked win on the road for Notre Dame to
Right.
kind of solidify their resume. So this is absolutely a big game for both teams in my mind.
Well, I would have to say if Notre Dame wins out, I think they deserve a seat at the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
where exactly you put them, I don't know. But I will say if they win out, this is a tough game. What's the number right now? About
10 and
10?
a half.
What is it, Ryan?
10 and a half.
10.5? Yeah. Yeah, my numbers came to 8 in this game. I got to look at it a little more closely. But I think Notre Dame padded some numbers, including my power ratings, with some big wins at home. I'm not sure I trust them on the road.
It is the lowest number here at the South Point on Notre Dame, 10 and a half. There are 11s and 11.5s as well.
Okay.
Watch out for that. I haven't made my numbers yet for this week. I just did my upgrading, my first
Mm-hmm.
as well, which I think I have a new SEC team at the top. I think Texas A&M jumped
Really?
Alabama for me.
Well,
Yeah, barely. I mean, half a point.
well, I mentioned two friends of the show, Bill Conley and Ed Feng, both told me they had A&M over Alabama. So I had to go look. Now, I think I have them on equal footing right now.
Okay, that makes sense.
I still like Texas. Well, we're in a different conference. Texas Tech out of the Big
Yes.
12. I mean, we're talking about some of the Texas teams. That's a good team, boy. I'll tell you. That is a really good team.
We got to talk about the Big 12 and the Big 10. So Texas Tech
Yeah.
dominating win over BYU. Not too flashy, but they left
Right.
a lot that I think that score could have been much higher than 29-7,
Yeah.
right? They settled for a field goal a few times.
As I talked myself out of playing Texas Tech, too. I was wanting to play them, but, BYU undefeated, and they've done a lot of good things all year, So, I mean, I just got kind of scared laying a big number.
Right. And you never know how they're going to react, right?
Right.
Everybody was there. Patrick Mahomes went back. Everybody,
Yeah,
Game
right,
Day
right.
was there. So you don't know, but they did. They stepped up. They rose to
Yeah.
the occasion, and they are just dominating. They're winning by double digits in all of their
Yeah.
games. So we'll see if they
Bunch of
can
games like that. Yeah.
hang when it comes to the actual playoffs. Big Ten was wild. Indiana survived one.
Oh. Well, I'm a Penn State guy. Everybody knows that. Man, I wanted to win that game bad, and I thought they had it. I mean, I thought they fought hard, and that's another one. There's a situation where, yeah, those kids were all James Franklin's kids, but man, they showed a lot of guts. I'm not sure they're going to just fold up the tent there. As a matter of fact, I would be surprised if they did. But I thought they had it, but give Indiana a ton of credit. That had to be the catch of the year.
Yes.
Got the one foot, one toe down. I wasn't sure he got, but he got it. I mean, that was the right call and a great play for them to win the game.
A really fun game, and we did talk about you, Sammy P, and I also thought that was too many
Yeah, I
points.
had that winner, and I mean, I don't just bet them blindly, believe me.
Yeah.
But I thought that number got a little too high.
Defensively, they looked like the Penn State team, especially at the end, getting after Fernando. Fernando Mendoza. He made a good case for himself.
I think he wrapped up the Heisman.
You
That's
do?
my opinion, but I'm not a voter. But he, big game like that came through in the clutch, national TV game.
Yes.
I think a lot of people watching that one. He's got to be. I don't know if he's odds on yet. I don't follow that market that closely. Is he odds on, Ryan?
Yeah,
No.
180 for Julian Sayin, 185 for Mendoza.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that Zand's pretty good too.
Yeah.
So.
What about Oregon? Thoughts on that game with Oregon and Iowa? They did find a way, but it was ugly.
Yeah.
Battle of the trenches.
We got a report that morning that Oregon had a bunch of guys out. Game day, or not game day was there, but Fox, I think, was there. And our friend kind of let me know early in the morning that there's a lot of guys questionable or hurt for Oregon. It was going to be a tough game. First of all, it's going to be a tough game under any conditions. Plus you had weather, and Iowa just can make you play ugly. That's the way they've been doing it since Kirk Ferentz been there. I think he has more wins than anybody in the history of the Big Ten. I think that's true, mostly because he's just been there for so long. And they are good. They're always good. But they made Oregon play their game. Oregon pulled it out. I mean, I'm not unimpressed with Oregon. I mean, if they got all their players back, I think they'll be, right where I had them power rated, which is very, very good.
Yes, at least top 5, right?
Yeah,
right
probably.
now?
Yeah, I'd have to look. Yeah.
Still the Big Ten kind of holding that top mark. Do you have an update for us with your prop for who's going to win the national championship from which division?
Same as last week.
Same as last
Whatever
week.
it was,
Big Ten's favored.
Yeah. But you're still going to plus price on it, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, the SEC has, they got a lot of teams to throw at you, and you're going to have Texas Tech out of the Big 12 who's going to be, they're not too far down the list. They're going to be tough to beat.
So odds-on favorite now, but you're not getting that.
Is it odds on?
Plus price, minus
What
120.
do I got? What do I got the Big 12? 10-1.
Still 10-1.
That might be a little high. Might have to go take a look at that one.
Ryan, anything else before we wrap it up here? You want to ask Chris?
Well, no, I was just going to point out that, Chris, you were right about Kirk Ferentz being the winningest coach in Big Ten history. He passed Woody Hayes, now has 206 wins at Iowa. Well, before this past week. But Woody Hayes had 205 at Ohio State. So you were good there.
Okay.
Any questions for us on the chat? Anybody who's watching that wants to ask anything?
We did have JR, but he was asking about the Heisman. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
Did I miss anything from?
Well, I'm looking at this
you?
week's games. We've already had action. We've had two-way action on the Miami game. I opened at 2.5. They laid it. I went to 3.
Two-way
They
action.
took it. So there's me. So we got that already. I'm looking. There's going to be a lot of 3s out there. Oh, the Seahawks got bet plus the 3. I'll tell you what. The Seahawks are right at the top of my power ratings. I mean, they just keep winning. I think I've told you 100 is a really good score for my game power score. I think they have 4 in a row of 100.
I believe it.
You just can't ignore that. I mean, this is good. This is a good team.
Yes, and all 3 facets.
Yeah,
So
well
they're-
coached. Okay, if it's a playoff game, I'd probably have more trust in Stafford, than Darnold.
Right.
But it's not a playoff game,
Right.
and I think I tell you what, Seattle, they might be as good as anybody right now. And the other team that I think's come on, not that big of a surprise, but the situation changed was Baltimore.
Yes.
I mean, they got their defense healthy.
Yes.
That was a big question mark. And of course, Lamar Jackson. I mean, I don't have them quite at the top. I have them just a notch below.
Of your power ratings.
Yeah.
But they're in your top 10 now.
Oh God, they're my yeah. Yeah.
I think they made their way up to like 6 last week.
Yeah.
But I haven't done NFL
Well,
yet, so we'll see.
100 right now is my top ranking. It can go higher, but usually 100 is my top ranking. I got 3 teams in 100: Kansas City, the Rams, Seahawks.
Wow.
And then I have Baltimore at 99.5.
Okay. I had the Rams and the Seahawks both top 5 last week.
Yeah,
and they did it again yesterday.
Boy,
they both looked very impressive.
Not forget the score. They were completely dominating that game. And the Seahawks game was over like 2 minutes into that game.
Yes.
And of course, we needed the dog. So we had no chance.
Yes. College, though, you started talking about some games this week. We have a huge one with Georgia and Texas. I think you were
That's a big one.
saying you might like the dog.
No.
No.
Not really. No. I don't like the favorite yet, but I definitely don't like the dog. For me at this point, it'd be favorite or nothing.
Pretty much.
Duke and Virginia is an interesting game, in the ACC race.
Yeah. Is that a Chandler Morris in number? Duke 6.5? Or is that assuming he's not 100%?
I think it's with him in.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Then we got Notre Dame and Pitt. We talked about that. I have to look a little. There's, who's Oklahoma? Where's Oklahoma? Alabama.
Yes, that should be
that's
a
a
good
big game. Utah and Baylor. I got Utah rated really high. I don't think they could sneak into the playoff, but I still think it's a really good team.
They can with some help. But
they can with some help.
Yeah.
They're gonna need some help. But I think that's a really dangerous team. That screwed up a couple of games, or else they'd be right there.
TCU found a way to lose to Iowa State. They go to Utah to play BYU. So BYU's got to stay perfect now to keep that spot and go up against. But they also have Cincinnati up next. That's why Utah.
That's a sneaky good team there.
Yeah. If they have 2 losses here coming up. But all right, Chris. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll keep everybody updated if there's anything else in regards to big movers. If we hear about players that are opting out. So just to keep everybody who watches and supports us.
You know where to find me.
And we know where to find you. Thank you. Okay. And let's have a good rest of the week. We'll see you again Friday for Football Frenzy.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back for everybody who is watching us live. Take a quick break. When we get back, we got our whiteboard plays for the night. And we've got our trivia answer here coming on Sports by the Book.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Looking to bet smarter? Get sports betting insight and winning picks straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I think we're going to get goals from both sides here. Give me over 5.5.
That is also one of my favorite plays of the weekend is the Colts -3 on the road.
So you're getting plus 130 here.
How can you go against Tuskegee?
Exactly.
Join Sports by the Book Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific and bet your winning edge.
Here we go, wrapping it up on a Monday. This is Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Please make sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. 5 days a week, you can find us, 10 a.m., of course, Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, we have our Football Frenzy, noon to 2. You want to check that out. 2 hours breaking down the week in college football and NFL coming up for the weekend. All right, Ryan, let's get to it. We had a poll question for everybody. I'm curious what the results say. And then we had a trivia question as well.
Yeah, that we did. First, we'll get up to the poll question, talking about tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Eagles and Packers. We actually had Dean Hilt in the chat letting us know that the weather in tonight's game is supposed to be 28 degrees and a chance of snow. So might not be a whole lot of offensive production, but who knows? But anyway, to the poll, Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 110 here at the South Point. Jalen Hurts touchdown passes over 1.5 plus 130. A.J. Brown receptions over 4.5 plus 105. And Luke Musgrave going over his receptions of 3.5 plus 115 here at the South Point. And the viewers are going with the Packer, going with Jordan Love to throw at least 2 touchdown passes tonight, getting plus 110 here at the South Point. 44% of the vote on Jordan Love.
Kind of going against what the Eagles have been doing as of late.
Yep.
With more passing, thinking the Eagles are going to lean on their run game with Saquon Barkley.
Hey, but Dwayne Colucci cautioned you to go against, and Chris Andrews cautioned you to go against the popular dog. So that would be going against the Eagles, and that would be the route that they take. The Jordan Love throwing touchdowns tonight. So, yeah, there it is for the poll. But going to our ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine, we had a hockey question for you today. On this date in sports history, back in 1934, November 10th, 1934, the first penalty shot in NHL history was awarded to Armand Mondeau of the Montreal Canadiens. The question was, which NHL team currently holds the record for the most penalty shot attempts to date? So in their team's history. And the answer is that team that got the first penalty shot, the Montreal Canadiens, have 96 attempts to date. Mondeau won the Stanley Cup twice with the Canadiens, was awarded 3 penalty shots in his career, and scored one of them, but did not make that first one. So there was your ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine.
Yes, of course you can pick up your City Light Shine at the
Delicious.
At the shop here at the South Point. So try if you want to try that, check it out. A lot of different flavors. This is caramel apple. But perfect. Thank you. That works out because I think most of our bets tonight are hockey. So it's fitting that our trivia happened to be hockey as well. I like that weather update. I appreciate whoever put that in the chat because now I probably will jump in on the under. Full game under, maybe tied up with either a running back or one of these quarterbacks who can run the ball in anytime touchdown.
Okay.
Nice and simple. But then I got 3 hockey for you today. I told you I liked favorites. I also kind of lean to the Oilers. That makes me a little bit more nervous there. So I'm going with the team that's undefeated at home in the New Jersey Devils, minus 155. I love the Vegas Golden Knights at home tonight, minus 135. They've already lost 2 in a row. And Panthers have not been great on the road. Just 2 wins out of 8 games for them have they won on the road. VGK will be ready for this one. And give me an ugly game at Madison Square Garden here. Nashville and the Rangers under 5.5 for me.
I like those a lot. So I will stay away and give you 2 hardwood picks in the NBA, which I know I haven't necessarily been too confident on, especially with game time decisions. And one of my picks is going to involve one that has 4 very key defensive or game time decisions. Milwaukee Bucks on the road in Dallas are a road favorite now to 3 here at the South Point. I took it at 2. I do like the Bucks here on the road. The Mavericks just had their first win in I think 6 games on the road against the Wizards, who accompany them at the bottom of the league. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is a game time decision for the Bucks. Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and Anthony Davis are all game time decisions for the Mavericks. The Mavericks really haven't been able to do much at all this year, so it's really more of a play on the Bucks and a fade of the Mavericks. I got it at 2, now to 3, so kind of moving with me. But I will also be going with another road team, this time in Florida, the Portland Trail Blazers, getting 2 against the Magic tonight. The Blazers have been really good. They are coming off of a loss. The Magic are also coming off a loss. They just played 2 games back-to-back at home against the Celtics. A little weird scheduling quirk by the NBA there, but I think the defense will travel here for the Blazers. So getting the plus price here, I'm taking a shot. Blazers and Bucks tonight.
That total really jumped out to me. Seems like a high total, especially for an Orlando game. And then you said the defense travel. So I'm with you. I lean to the under. So then points at a premium here. I like it. 2 plays on the hardwood. And you said you haven't been very confident, but you've been very good knowing your spots for the NBA. So we'll keep it rolling here. Some hockey and some basketball picks for you on this Monday. Hopefully everybody enjoys the Monday Night Football game. Hopefully we get some winners there as well. We did trivia. We did our poll question. Any final thoughts on here? I'm checking from our guy Vince, who's monitoring the chat.
We do have a thought of if the Rams stay healthy, they should go to the Super Bowl. So possible NFC champs there. But yeah, ultimately a great day, and hopefully we got you guys some winners. Oh, and Dave did let me know that I did point out that 8-1 best price you can get on FanDuel for defensive special teams, but apparently FanDuel does not include special teams in that touchdown. So
okay.
That might be why it's 8.
So that's why you're getting a little bit extra price there just for the defense.
Yeah. But
very
still
good.
Like I was thinking that it's going to be a pick 6 anyway. So
yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching live. Thank you if you're checking in later on. Just please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us a lot. Please also give us a follow on our social media pages, Sports by the Book, Sports by the Book LV on Instagram. We'll be back tomorrow, 23 hours, same time, start, 10 a.m. And Matt Neverett joins us here on Sports by the Book. So thank you to the crew and Jerry, Vince, Sean, Ryan. I'm Alex White. We'll see. Who did I forget? Drew Dog, who is actually cutting the show. We'll see you guys again tomorrow here on Sports by the Book.